Hey guys, Ross Merriam here for my deck for this week's Versus video. I'm going to be playing a green-white Hardened Scales deck that's updated with some cool cards from Oath of the Gatewatch. So if you're familiar with the Hardened Scales decks before, what you'll see at the top here is pretty standard. We've got our namesake enchantment Hardened Scales and a lot of token synergies to go along with it. Mana Gorger Hydra gets really big when every spell gives 2 counters to it. Hangerback Walker similarly grows a lot faster, and we get a little bit of value with Den Protector, Servant, and Avatar the Resolute. The real upgrade from Oath of the Gatewatch for this deck is Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. The previous versions of this deck were heavily reliant on Hardened Scales to get these token or counter synergies going. Nissa similarly augments a lot of the counter synergies in the deck, but does so after the fact, meaning that you can curve your creatures into Nissa and then still get a lot of value out of the -2 ability, giving a lot of your creatures extra counters. You can also develop a much bigger board by making some plant tokens before using the -2. So all in all, Nissa is going to supplement a lot of the deck synergies very well, while also giving it an added resilient element that the deck didn't have before. The other addition I have is Oath of Nissa, which is going to help us sort of fix our draws a little bit. Sometimes the Hardened Scales deck before could be a little finicky and inconsistent, depending upon the ratios of Lance's spells and certain types of creatures that can get its real synergies going. Oath of Nissa will just afford us a little bit of protection in that sense. If we can go over to the mana base, again, pretty standard here. The one thing to keep an eye out for is the Blue Splash with a Prairie Stream that we can find off some of our fetch lands and a Yavimaya Coast. And we'll see in the sideboard that gives us some access to counter spells, which will certainly help out today against Major's deck of Jeskai Black. So that's it for the main deck. Stay tuned for the sideboard. Hey guys, I'm back here for the sideboard of the green-white Hardened Scales deck I'll be playing in today's Versus video. As I mentioned when going over the main deck, we have a light blue splash that helps us play these counter spells, 2 Stubborn Denial, and 3 copies of Disdainful Stroke. Normally, I would err more towards Stubborn Denial because our deck enables it pretty well, but with the emergence of Ramp being more popular in the wake of Jim Davis's victory at the Players' Championship, I wanted to include more Disdainful Strokes, so that's where we get that split. Got Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, which gives the deck another Planeswalker to dig for with Oath against control decks. The one Evolutionary Leap is also great against control and goes really well with Nissa, generating a lot of plant tokens, and with Hangerback Walker, which we've seen in the past. The Irashing Clerics, Surge, and Hidden Dragon Slayer are going to come in against red aggressive decks and maybe some other aggressive strategies. Dragon Slayer is also particularly good against something like Abzan, where we can flip it and kill a Siege Rhino or an Anafenza, something like that. And Valorous Dance similarly comes in against bigger aggressive decks. And we have one addition from Oath of the Gatewatch, and that's Wall of Resurgence. This is a 2-for-1, giving you 2 bodies, although one of them doesn't attack, so it's probably not going to be great against control decks, but I think it'll be very good against aggressive decks because you can go wide on your board and play better defense against things like Hoarding Outburst and Dragon Fodder. And the 3/3 actually gets bigger with Hardened Scales, so we have a little bit of synergy there. That's it for the sideboard. Stay tuned for the games.